Meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Rogers is excused for the town council meeting. I have no announcements. Public comment. Ms. Tibbetts? Yeah, just hold the button there.
Just hold it.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay.
You're on.
Linda Tibbetts, 16 Mill Road. I'm here now with a personal comment. I'm here with comments from the Foster Land Trust. I am chair of the Foster Land Trust. So this is basically because dark skies are on the agenda for today, and I thought maybe there'd be more public here with an interest in dark skies or not. But there's property that the Land Trust has that probably most people in town don't even know about, because our brochure includes our trails and properties that are open for a lot of trails. And we actually have something called Tom Woods Preserve, which is about 526 acres of contiguous properties that are in unfragmented forest. That have been acquired through open space and greenways grants. And the open space and greenways are part of both the town comprehensive plan and the state guidelines. And so they have no paved roads through them and all. In our Tom Woods Preserve, we actually have the north-south trail cutting right through it, but we don't have side cross trails. We have a border trail around it that's being worked on. It's not quite complete yet. So I just wanted to make the public aware that the Land Trust has been since 2003 protecting this open space for both interior forest birds and plants, and also an unfragmented forest. It's the first grant was for 2 properties, and it was a 2003 RIDEM, Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management grant for 2 parcels of land. And the next one was in 2006, and we acquired another 158 acres. So altogether, when we first started for these grants, there was a 1,000 acre block of properties that were privately owned that were unfragmented forest. And this is something that the state kind of wanted to protect. And that's basically what the Land Trust is supposed to be doing. And to this date, we had a 2007 grant for 1 more property. We had a donation from the Nature Conservancy that added another parcel. And we did only 1 purchase of a 5-acre parcel, which is on Shippey Schoolhouse Road. That is basically because it had perfect access to put in an equestrian parking area that would be large enough for equestrian trailers to pull in and out of. And that was just a small purchase. It was a 5-acre parcel. But altogether, we have 526 acres of protected, open, unfragmented forest. And I just wanted the townspeople to know about that, because if they look on the website, kind of our properties are listed individually, and they wouldn't even realize that this package of properties is actually all abutting. So it's one contiguous piece of large forest being protected. Perfect for large mammals migration. It's actually connected to the Connecticut's Last Green Valley, which is supposedly the last dark sky area, undeveloped area between Boston and Washington, D.C. And it connects actually to the Berkshires. So there's a lot of nice open space there that is protected property, and Foster is part of that. And I just wanted to state this, and because of the dark skies ordinance, it's great for, we have a development plan for along Route 6. And I think the Dark Skies proposal, and the Dark Skies proposal benefits the townspeople. It doesn't take anything away from them. People don't have to change anything that they have, but new development would have to abide by having lighting that doesn't spread light, scatter light up into the air. It's just all down lighting. So I think that would be a good protection. And our forested area is a mile or a little bit less in some places from Route 6. So it'd be nice to keep the new lighting for any new development there, lighting the ground where it needs to be lit and not lighting the skies. And I just wanted to put it out there that we have the Foster Land Trust. That means the townspeople have this protected area. That's a great one. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Consent agenda?
I make a motion, we accept the consent agenda as presented. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, consent agenda. Old business. All right, the RIPTA Safe Streets for All. We had another phone call, the chief and I. Oh, yes.
So were other licenses new and existing part of that?
Part of the consent, yes.
Could I just say something to that? I didn't realize. I thought they were gonna be separate.
Yeah.
Lynn Ryder Burgess Road. The towing on Danielson Pike. That has never come up before a planning board, as far as I know. And I didn't think we had towing licenses. I know when Mr. Natigo went for it, it had to be a variance for him to have a towing license. And I'm just wondering, did these people already have a towing license?
So based on research, that's what we did first, to make sure they were already existing in town. And we do have records that they were already in town paying taxes as a towing business. They didn't
As a-
change their name.
And they didn't what? I'm
They
sorry.
didn't change their name, so it's always been a towing business.
It's always been a towing
Yeah.
business?
And now we have the other licenses because we don't have that enumerated. That's why they applied for that license under other.
So I'm gonna say, we're issuing a business license,
Yeah.
not the towing license.
Oh,
Towing
so-
license is separate.
okay, so this is, so just Auto and Sons Towing and that's just a name.
That is the name.
But they don't tow.
They do tow. So
I
So-
thought,
based on what they applied for, they were paying taxes from, we found records from 2020 forward. That they were paying taxes as that business name. That's what they do. They do towing. They were doing it out of that business on Danielson Pike previously. And because we don't have towing in our ordinance, that's why they applied for the $100 other license.
okay, so
That's-
they didn't, well, apparently they didn't have to go through all of the planning board stuff and
Because it was existing prior, yes.
it was already existing.
Yep.
I did not realize we had any towing companies in this town.
Yep,
Have they towed? They tow? Okay. May I add something?
yes,
I wasn't aware of this, and if they're towing, are they towing privately? Are they towing? They're not towing for us. They're not on our tow list.
they are not.
Um, do they want to be on our tow list? Is that the next step for them? I haven't seen them tow any vehicles. So if they tow, do they have insurances for a secure yard? Do they have the secure yard? Do they have all of the things?
The license is gonna come from the state.
The license,
Right, Joe?
That's a,
Joe, am I right?
Would have to have a public utilities license,
Right, through the state.
but that's something different. yeah.
that's
different-
totally
that's different than
different.
license we're
That's
given.
totally different.
Yeah.
I ran the towing end of the state police.
Mhm.
Therefore, there were certain protocols that the ones that worked for us, and there was tons of them, because all over the state. However, there were certain things that had to be in place for each facility. That does not come from the state. The PUC comes, that's taxes. That's the Public Utilities Commission is completely different than what a tow agency, a tow yard needs. Are they gonna have to comply with anything that any other tow agency in this town, i.e. Knox's,
License
maybe n-
through the State. You gotta have a tow license approved by the state.
everybody has to have a tow license approved by the state.
So
Anybody-
what's,
Yeah.
I don't understand what your question is, Gina.
My question is, are they going to have to abide by every other protocol that if Mr. Nadiger gets his tow place, what Scott Knox has to do to keep his, are they gonna have?
yeah,
to-
that's gonna be on them. We're giving them the business
We're
license
just
to
giving
actually
them the
have
business
business at that
license.
But
address.
who's going to, and I use this term loosely, who's gonna police their business to make sure they're in compliance with the same protocol? It's important. It's
I get
important
what you're saying,
because
but
if they get broken
it's
into,
not-
if they tow a car and they get broken into, the place gets broken into.
I don't have anything to do with Scott Knox's, Scott
I
Knox
do.
does the towing, I know, but us as a council. Don't have anything to do with the towing that Scott does.
What
He's
did-
licensed
what-
You
through
have
the
to make-
state.
But if you have 10 restaurants in town, 10 restaurants gonna have to abide by the same set of rules.
10
Right, but I don't think that,
restaurants are in a whole different ballpark. They're also regulated by the state. They have to state
yeah, there's certain
inspectors
things that
come.
we don't join it from
I don't,
explaining it
Do
correctly.
you
It's the
understand?
business
And I might not be
license side of
explaining it correctly.
I know what you are saying. The problem is that apparently this business, Michael.
No, you gotta hold it.
So this business has apparently been operating for quite some time. So they don't have any, the town, as far as I am aware, the town had not imposed, whenever they started operating, didn't impose any restrictions on them. So whatever policing has been done in the past would just continue. I don't know how many vehicles they tow. I don't think it's I don't think towing is their main operation. But when you are enforcing something with Knox, is that based on just the standards, state standards, or something that came from the town?
It was something that I brought with me from the state police. So everybody that tows for Knox's, say, I get a list of all of their employees. This is just a part of it. I get a list of all of their employees
Mhm.
because they tow for us and I run them. And if they have any criminal history, burglary, larceny, they cannot, those people have to either get, they
Right.
can't work for him or they have to get, they can't tow for us. Also, the size of the yard being secured, a secured yard. So I brought that over with me from the state police so these guys can tow for me. I also have two other agencies, Precision and Coletta's, in the event we have a heavy duty record needed because those guys aren't able, they don't have the equipment to do that.
I think now we'll have somebody who does have the equipment to do that.
Who,
I think
you getting heavy duty?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there we go.
so, but this company is not authorized to tow for the town. So you do
Right.
not have to let them unless they meet, if you want to and they meet your standards, fine. But they're not, it's just, it's essentially they've been operating this business, and then at some point we said, okay, people who are operating businesses that are non-conforming and that have been operating them for a while, we need to know that you're here and we're gonna charge you this license
I
fee.
understand
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So you know, it's kind of we're in the middle of that. But if there is a standard that you are imposing, because it's a state standard on everybody, that's fine. But if it's a standard you're imposing because they're operating for the town, unless you're gonna let them operate for the town, you don't have to worry about that.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
But
That's what-
just be prepared, just as an aside, be prepared that there may be a time where what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Just know that if tow agency X is made to do this, why isn't that guy?
Yeah, well, if
And
they
that's
come-
something
if-
that you guys will have to.
Yeah,
do,
if they
not
come
me.
in and want to tow for you, for some
Then
reason now
that's
after,
you.
then it's on you to vet them and say, well, you don't have all your state
Absolutely.
permits. So
Right.
that's
There
that's
you
where
go.
that comes
Or
in.
we don't like your.
Yeah.
Or your
Oh, we don't
employees
like the way,
do- Or, you know, whatever, that's fine.
But if something happens with the tow agency that's not vetted, that can come back on the town and say, I could see, in the worst
don't think
case
that would come on the
scenario,
town.
I could see them saying, well, you gave these guys a license and they didn't have a secure yard. I'm saying the worst case.
yeah, we don't have
We
the,
don't give them a license to tow though, we just gave them a general.
yeah, we gave them a general
general
business
other,
license.
yeah.
That's just the name of their
So
company.
just
We
like you paid for your farm,
Mhm,
that's all we're doing.
Yeah. We're not approving their towing, we're approving their
not-
business.
their business.
We're not coming and telling you how to run your barn.
And
Yeah,
it's been in place, so I'm assuming that they're doing something on the side. I don't even know if they're towing to that location.
Right.
You
They're
can-
towing totally out of the town. That's not really. that's-
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't
Yeah.
know.
you can do that if they want to come work for you and you
Yeah, then you
want
would
to
vet 'em.
approve
Right,
them,
right.
then you vet them.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
All right.
I think it's.
But you don't have to.
No,
No,
all right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Question.
Yes, if you don't mind. Come over here, Joe, please.
I don't understand. I mean, the towing is all they do. I'm
Mhm.
familiar with them. I know them personally. To have a PUC certificate, you must have a zoning certificate stating that you are allowed to tow if he has PUC rights. Okay, that's what I had to do. I've had my license 40 years and I had to supply that in any location. Whether or not anybody checked on that, and you have to have a storage facility to have a PUC license as well. They have guidelines, background checks, all the stuff that the chief brought up. And I don't believe
Yeah,
he has
I don't-
any of that. He just basically does towing up there. There's no
Yep.
repair, nothing. So I don't.
but we're not in the business
Yeah, I don't
of
know.
regulating tow companies.
We know that.
Yeah,
Saying-
yeah, right, it's,
That's all. I'm
we're
saying.
licensing the business
Mhm.
as the business. Whether they're actually towing or what they're doing there, you know, that's, I mean, it's in the name. But I'm not 100% sure, because it fell into other,
Right.
and it's only because they've been in play for a number of years.
I know
That's what I
Cal Cocker Show
Yeah,
towed for years and years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he had a license from the state that he was a legal
Right.
tow operator.
That's my question. I
Yep.
mean, why I had to jump through hoops and
I-
it's the same
You're a new
thing.
business.
yeah, that's,
It wasn't me that made you.
No,
do it.
I know that. I
Yeah.
know that. But you know,
Yeah.
like Steve
I know.
had said earlier, you know, they proved that they had been paying taxes as a tow business. How is that possible? I mean, he leases that garage. He's not the property owner. He's paying the rent to the owner,
mhm.
so which doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Um,
Because they were paying without a license because we didn't have one available for them. So they filed paperwork and they're paying as a business, but not as
You
a
know, I had to pay
company
the
because we have a
farm.
license,
for that same license.
right.
but it's been
Just a
operating forever.
license
Yeah.
For the business enforcer.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I just have one more question regarding this. This one. I've been following, not very closely, but I've been following Joe's request to have a tow agency
Mhm.
in town. And he has my protocol of what I expect if he wants to tow for the police down the road. And how I've been following it is what the town has been making him do in order to have that tow if he tows anything, whether he tows 2 cars, 1 car, or 20 cars. That is, the town is making the Natagers jump through all these hoops. If Jess, and I don't know these guys, I don't know how squared away they are or not. Is the town gonna make them, knowing that they tow now, knowing that they have, is the town gonna say, okay, we gave you a license, but now that we know what you're doing, you're gonna have to do the same thing, has nothing to do with the police. You're gonna have to do the same thing that we're making these guys do. That's my question.
They, Joe had to do it because it was a new business in town. He had to go to planning and zoning.
Right?
To do that. The rules changed. So they're already existing. We got nothing to do with them. We only gotta deal with Joe or for Joe because he's bringing a new business into town. And I'm sorry he had to go through all that,
And
but that's the rules.
And obviously, I understand perspective is everything. So I see the conflict there, and I actually agree with you.
Thank you.
But there are rules that we have to abide by,
Okay.
with the building and zoning. And as a new business, that's what we had to do. There was obviously some other issues that we had to work through, and I think we're progressing. But this is not anything different than any other business that came in that was never licensed to say, okay, now I have a chicken farm that would, or I couldn't say chicken farm, but something that's not enumerated in our
Right,
protocols.
right.
So if they came in and just said, okay, now I've been doing this for 10 years, we researched, had some paperwork, it's the same thing.
Okay.
And I know perspective is everything, and I understand. But there is a difference between a new business coming in and an existing business based on what the past council passed with this other license, just so we know they're there. And so it did bring a lot of people out of the woodwork to get those licenses done.
God bless.
It just happens this one was,
So, yeah, you want it to be as fair across the board
Yeah.
as it can be. And we need the businesses so badly in this town,
Right.
just
Say
get them
that,
up
yeah.
and running.
Yeah.
So we can get some more revenue. But I appreciate you listening and just listening to my perspective. That was completely non-policing.
Yep.
That was just a perspective.
Yep.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Old business. Oh, back to the Safe Streets. So we had a meeting. And as of right now, it is an 80-20 split. The 20% can possibly come from RIPTA. We have to get clarification from RIPTA that they're actually gonna do the 20%. We are going to go back and adjust what was initially asked. So one of the questions I had were the sidewalks. We don't have an ordinance in town. We have 0 sidewalks. To start adding sidewalks now, it's gonna be kind of tough. So there's other things that we're gonna work on. So that's basically just an update. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to add, Chief, based on that.
I had my 4 asks for Safe Streets for All. And they took it upon themselves to drive around town and try to identify other areas that they thought may be a good idea, i.e. a sidewalk from town hall to the post office or to the library, just so the families can walk down. That was their idea. My 4 asks were crosswalk Route 6 from 94 to Route 6 across a crosswalk across 94 from the school to the ball field, speed enforcement camera at 6 and 94. And what was the 4th one, Steve?
Signage, lighting.
No. It was the 2 crosswalks. It was the
Well, the pathway and replacement of the
oh, and the
sidewalks. Yeah, the
sidewalk
sidewalk
that
going
from
to the field.
right, from
Yeah.
from Payne, the crosswalk, a diagonal, like a real diagonal, it'd be a long
Good.
one. And a short sidewalk from that crosswalk on the southbound side of 94
Yeah.
to get to the ball field.
And that right
because-
there is what we're gonna
Yeah.
discuss, whether we actually do just a nice clearing
Right,
where the kids will have the ability to walk, but not a sidewalk. But
right. So
we'll-
they're gonna adjust that, but
Yeah.
those are the 4 asks that we have right now. And they said all of them.
Signage, yeah. Yeah, we were talking about the signage for the cross.
You need a light? or
I tried to
At
get,
the
if
ball field.
anybody, while I'm here. I tried to get, a sign with the double yellow line saying that there was a school zone, you're approaching a school zone. Rhode Island DOT was willing to put that up for us. The town was not willing to maintain the light bulbs. That's why it got shot down.
Yeah.
I got the signs saying 30 miles an hour. There's a bunch of signs down there, fluorescent signs. You can see those are all new. The only thing DOT said that they would do is if there was an accident or a tree fell on it or it popped out of the ground, they would replace it. But if a light bulb went out, they wanted to know if the town
We would
would
maintain-
maintain just the light bulbs, and they said no. So that's
That's
so-
something we can revisit.
great.
Yeah, well,
That would be good. I don't know if it's, I don't know if it's
I don't know.
mandatory to have those flashing yellow lights at crosswalks. I don't know on like 94. I know we have something on Route 6,
Right.
the little
Those
hand
lights
thing,
are-
yeah.
right, their
So,
lights are
but if we
already-
could revisit that, the flashing lights, I had told Captain Isaac Payne's school when the previous administration was there that I was gonna get those flashing bulbs, and they did, DOT did approve it, but it got squashed.
yeah, and I think minus the lights, the sign for the school, we need one for the new crosswalk if that's what we're gonna do.
Great,
That is a crosswalk.
that'd be awesome.
So.
And they would
either way,
probably,
yeah,
do
that'd be
that for
part
us
of
too.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna discuss that and we'll revisit
Very
all
good.
those other things.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the Safe Streets? Okay. Budget workshop dates. The 18th, we are going to cancel. That is the schools regional meeting. So we cannot miss that one. So we are going to cancel that workshop. Can I, there was about cancellation. Can I add one on under this agenda?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can just. All right, so we're gonna add a date. What do we,
So you have the 20th already,
yeah,
and the 27th is gonna be the public hearing on the budget, so it should be before that.
okay. What's a good date? Oh, okay.
You want it after the 20th, Kelly, or before?
Well, just for you guys, I don't think the 17th, but you're gonna go to the financial town meeting on the 18th.
The 18th.
So I don't think having one on the 19th and 20th is really productive, so
Yeah,
I really
no.
think we should have it either the
Monday?
20 I'm thinking the
Tuesday?
Tuesday or the,
25th,
yeah.
25th is probably a good date.
Okay.
We'll do the 25th.
yeah.
All right.
Can we do Wednesday instead of Tuesday?
I'm okay Wednesday.
Fine.
Wednesday. James, you good?
It's not a planning board, no?
No.
No, it's the,
Yeah, no. The planning board is the 19th.
Okay.
yeah, it's next
That's
week.
the
Yeah,
fourth.
yeah.
Wait.
Not 4:30?
Not for
No, not 4:30, because we
I
are actually
can't,
meeting at 4 for negotiations.
okay.
5:30 would be fine, if that works for everybody.
4:30.
Hmm.
Okay, all right,
I'll
5:30.
be here already.
budget workshop?
Yes,
Yes.
yes. The 26th,
26th.
26th,
And,
5:30.
I'm just telling you, the whole. The only, is the one on the 27th, the only problem with that is if you make significant changes. I only have that date to make changes all across the board, sort of like, let's try to.
Right, yeah, we're gonna, the 20th, yep,
Prepared documents.
the 20th is gonna be a big.
Okay.
Budget meeting, yep,
So 27 should be, 26 should mostly be, all be on the same page.
yeah,
for the
yeah,
public
we,
hearing.
yeah,
Okay.
yes. Yes. New business, refuse removal contract. Expiration and RFP. Do you have any information? Do we,
So we did work on it.
yeah,
We got something from Situate. We did work on it. We got something from Situate and we were modifying theirs. And then, we also found our old one So we modified that. Did you get that, Joanna? Because I thought Kathy spent a lot of time on it with, Gordon. She sent it to Gordon, asked him specific questions, and I know she copied me on it. I didn't know if you were copied. So it's not really at the place yet. Gordon has to, and he hasn't really been here the last couple of days. So if he could work on it, but I think I'll forward it to you anyway, Joanna, so
Yeah.
you have it. Because ultimately we want it on the, if it can't be on the next agenda, which it can't be, it's too soon.
Yep.
We want it before we adopt the budget. So, we're gonna, I think in the RFP, if I'm remembering correctly, they were due back the Monday before the budget adoption hearing, assuming we're not gonna make it for the 7th. So maybe right around that time. So that we can get some real numbers. It's just it's a lengthy RFP. It's 50 pages long,
Yeah.
so it's taken more time than we thought.
See my legacy presentation.
Hi, everyone.
Is he
This-
online?
This is Karsten Heiberg with See My Legacy. It looks like I can't share my video yet. I need some permission from the host, if that's possible. I'll go ahead and I'll see if I can share my screen already. Let's see if we can get this. So I just started sharing my screen, so it should pop up here in a second. Let me know if you all can see that on your end.
Yeah.
You can? Fantastic. Well, thank you all for your time today. I'm Karsten Heiberg, the lead account executive here at See My Legacy. Boyan Nenadovic is here on the call as well. He's on our business development team. But again, just want to thank everyone for their time, for the opportunity to share this with you all. I've been talking with Tammy for quite some time now, talked with Kelly as well as some other committee members, and just really excited about the impact that we can have in your community. So what I'm going to do right now is just go through a few slides. I'll tell you about who we are and what we do with communities, and then I'll show you the sample profile that I built out for Foster. And so want to be mindful of everyone's time here. So I'll present succinctly and then just open up for questions at the end. So here at See My Legacy, we're really a community engagement and fundraising platform, helping communities like you. And so when we got started, we were working with communities around the country. We just started to see that they were facing similar problems across the board. So we set out to solve those. First one, in general, just communities wanted to offer more engagement opportunities for their residents. Usually people running communities have limited time and resources to make things happen, limited bandwidth. So we just wanted to bridge that gap, make it really easy for you to offer all the programs you want to for your residents. And then kind of tied into that, we also saw that because of the limited time and resources that community leaders have, a lot of times the process for residents to give back in the community was complicated or time intensive. Maybe they have to hunt down all the different opportunities across different websites or different pages. Maybe once they find the opportunity, they have to call in the city hall, get someone on the phone to answer their questions. Or maybe they actually have to print out a PDF or drop off a check at City Hall to give back. So we just wanted to simplify the process to make it really easy for people in your community to see all the opportunities to give back, get all the information they need to make a decision, and then be able to sign up or give back just with the click of a button. And then lastly, across the board, we just saw that everyone wanted more recognition. So whether it was a family or a business giving back in town, communities we were working with saw that they could incentivize more donations by offering that lasting recognition. But also by telling the story of these local families and businesses or organizations who are giving back, you end up with all these stories about people who are making things happen in Foster, which ends up being really cool for everyone. So in general, just think of us as your central hub for community giving. So anytime someone wants to engage or anytime you're doing community engagement or fundraising, it's all going to be in one place, really easy for your residents to find. And then recognition for those people who are giving back will also be built into the platform. And so generally, when we're talking with communities, the things that we see are across community engagement and fundraising. And the line gets kind of blurry between those two. But when we talk about community engagement, usually we see physical dedications, volunteer events, and points of interest. So some of the use cases we talked about with Tammy and Kelly and other community leaders were food pantry donations, the Memorial Bench Program, Buy a Brick fundraisers, field dedications or volunteer management, educational walks, maybe on the land trust trails or other programs for conservation or the parks, and even department-specific initiatives for fire, the library, or things of that nature. And so in general, with any of these types of programs that we're helping out within the community, within the platform, you're going to have easy online payments and registration. So just making things really easy for your residents where they can find the opportunities to get involved and give back right there. Then donor and volunteer management is built into the platform. So it's really easy for your community leaders to offer these types of initiatives throughout the community. Instead of having different spreadsheets across all the different campaigns you're running in town, now it'll all automatically be tracked within the platform. There's also online mapping. So for instance, with a bench program or something of that nature, makes it really easy to be able to map out where these physical items are throughout the community. Same thing if you were doing an educational walk on the land trust trails or sharing history, you can use the online mapping to make it really engaging for your residents. And then lastly, that recognition will come in the form of either digital stories or QR plaques. So digital stories will just be recognition that's going to be in the platform for anyone giving back in the community. And then the QR plaques will just be recognition that you can bring into the physical world if you choose to do so, for instance, on a memorial bench or something of that nature. And so that was community engagement. Like I said, there's definitely some overlap, but when we talk about fundraising, some other things that we had talked about with Tammy and Kelly and everyone else I mentioned were event sponsorships, some capital projects for renovating or just making improvements to the recreational fields and playgrounds. But we also see youth team sponsors or banners on athletic fields. So really lots of different things we see in different communities. And by no means do you guys have to use the platform for everything that I've mentioned or all the different ideas. Just want you all to see what's possible with the platform. But ultimately, with anything you're doing in this realm for fundraising, again, you'll have the easy online payments for your residents, automatic tax receipts. So anytime someone donates or gives back, that's just sent out automatically to the donor. Donor and sponsor recognition is built into the platform. So just really easy to offer that recognition for businesses who already give back, also to get more new businesses to give back and get involved. And then that donor and sponsor management, just making it really easy to keep track of for anyone in your community offering these programs. And so when I talked about those QR plaques, this is what I'm talking about. Basically, instead of a couple words on a plaque for a memorial bench or maybe on a historical walk, just having a couple words on a plaque, now with the QR code, the family or the community, you can share the story in a deeper way. So using photos and text, you can share stories or memories about the loved one on a memorial bench or about history in town on an educational plaque. But communities we work with, they use them for a lot of creative things around town, but at their heart, really just enhancing your sponsor and memorial recognition and just making things really engaging for your residents. And so always like to be super upfront about pricing. I'm sure it may have been brought to your attention already, but we do things on an annual subscription basis. So it's $24.99 a year, billed annually. And with that, you're going to get a dedicated support rep. So our community support team will build out everything for you in the platform. All the things we talked about, like if you wanted to get started with your food pantry donations, bench program, event sponsorships, and volunteer management, we would build it all out for you. You'll have a dedicated rep who will continue to just build things out over time as new departments or new community leaders want to add things into the platform. You'll also be able to build out unlimited initiatives. So we'll never charge you for building out more campaigns down the road. And then also unlimited users. So like I mentioned, all the departments throughout the city, any other organizations you want to give access to, you can all use the platform. We will never charge you for extra seats or extra users. And just to reiterate, I think the most important thing is your dedicated support rep and the community support team. So let's say you guys decide to move forward, then it'll be really easy setup and training. So we'll build everything out for you to get started. We'll continue to support you and build things out as you have those new ideas. We also will share best practices with you because we're working with communities around the country to build out all these community engagement and fundraising campaigns on a daily basis. So we'll share those best practices with you about how other communities are making their programs really engaging and rewarding for their residents, how they're driving more donations and just increasing the experience or improving the experience for everyone in town. And then we'll share those best practices with you, build out social media posts or different things to promote these different campaigns you're running, and do everything we can to make them successful for you. So all of that will be included in that annual subscription. So now I'll actually jump over to the platform itself. And so I just grabbed these photos really quick off of Google. So all of this is customizable, but main idea here again is now you have one central hub where anytime someone's thinking about community engagement or fundraising, they can just come to one place. And so what you'll see here is on each page, there's a shareable link. So it makes it really simple and easy to get the word out in town about things you're doing or opportunities for people to give back. So if there is the URL right here, but also you can generate a QR code. So a lot of communities that we'll work with, they'll generate this QR code and then maybe post it at their rec center or at their downtown area. So people walking by, they can scan it, see all the upcoming events or ways they can give back in the community. And even though our team will build out custom social media posts or graphics or things like that to promote the things you're doing in town, we also make it really easy where even if it's just the fire department or some department in town that wants to run a campaign, really easy for them to just share it on Facebook, share on LinkedIn, any social media posts like that. So this is just kind of the front page. Same thing on the campaigns page. So all of the campaigns you're running throughout your community will all be right here. You got the shareable link here as well. So you can just direct people right here if you'd like, or you could even direct people to a specific campaign. So you got another link right here at this Concerts in the Park example. This is just an example of an event sponsorship. But the main thing I want to highlight here is the same way that you had all the campaigns being run throughout the community on that previous page. Now you have all the information about this campaign in one place. And so if someone comes in to check out this event sponsorship, maybe it's not Concerts in the Park, maybe it's your Memorial Day event that you do. But regardless, someone can come in, make their donation, and then when they go back, they're going to see all the other campaigns going on throughout the community. So just really great for getting the visibility to all the different things you're doing in town. And then whether someone comes in to check out the event sponsorships or a volunteer opportunity or a bench program or even the historical walk, then they're going to end up seeing everything else that's going on once they're already engaged. So I'll jump into a couple of these specific campaigns just to show you what that actually looks like. So I'll go back to the Concerts in the Park. Again, this is just a specific example, but this could be any type of event sponsorship that you're doing in town. Again, all the information about the campaign is right here. So now it could be Christmas Day, and if someone's thinking about donating or giving back in the community, hopefully if they tried to call someone in the community to ask questions, they wouldn't answer since it's Christmas, but now they don't have to. The idea here is just having all the information in one place so I can read about the campaign, why participate, the guidelines, the benefits. Maybe you have gold, silver, bronze tiers. You could break all that down right here, but making it really easy for your local businesses, organizations, and families just to learn about the opportunity. They can see these options for sponsorships right here. And so you can look at it here or look at it through the gallery view, but either way, just makes it really easy to see how I can give back in the community. And so what you'll see here as well is anytime someone gives back, for instance, as a single concert sponsor, it automatically creates a donated items card right here. So when I'm talking about recognition, now instead of just getting a word on a flyer or recognition, a couple words maybe on a website or something like that, now automatically, without any work from anyone, as soon as someone makes their donation, it just creates a donated item card right here. And then anytime someone comes in here considering donating, they're going to see, hey, Rafa & Sons Auto Repair, they already gave back. Maybe I should too. But also just really great for your recurring businesses that you have that already give back. And now they're going to get more visibility throughout the community. So really great for that recognition. And then just to show you how we make it easy for your residents to actually give back, let's say I want to become a single concert sponsor. I can just click in right here, click participate now, and then it takes me right to a Stripe checkout page. So it makes it really simple and easy where I can just plug in my bank account, plug in my credit card, click pay, and my donation's already made. And so as soon as I click pay here and make my donation, two things happen automatically. Me, the donor, I get an email notification with a quick thank you and confirmation of my donation. Also, some standard language from the IRS, that's for my tax purposes. And then simultaneously, when I click pay here and donate, you or whoever's leading this campaign in the community will get an email notification basically saying, hey, Karsten Heiberg just donated, became a single concert sponsor for this event, and whatever details you need to get the ball rolling on your end. So whoever's running this campaign, you don't actually have to come into the platform to see if people are donating or to know what's going on. But if you do come into the platform, you'll see that under each campaign, there's an activity log. So it makes it really simple and easy to keep track of who's donating, what they're donating. Again, you don't need to have a different spreadsheet for each campaign or each department anymore. Now it's all going to get tracked right here, making it really easy for your staff and anyone throughout your community. And what you'll see here too, which I'll show you, is beyond just that payment feature that I showed you, the payment processor, there's also, we can include custom forms or document uploads or whatever information you need for that campaign. So any documents that are collected along with the payment, they'll also be packaged up nice and neat right here in the activity log. So again, just making it really easy for your community to keep track of. And so we use Stripe as our payment processor. We chose them because they're reliable. I imagine a lot of people might be familiar. And these payments, they'll reconcile with you on a weekly basis to a bank account of your choosing. And we can actually break it down where if there are different departments getting involved or different organizations, each campaign can go to a different bank account. Our community support will set that up for you. And each week that we disperse the funds to your community, we'll also send you an itemized breakdown of who donated, what they donated, what campaign it was a part of. So just making it really easy to keep track of financially as well. So as far as just showing you what else you can do with an event, some communities, they either get local artists or food vendors or people to sign up for the chili cook-off. So just to show you what else you can include in the checkout process, here, if I click participate now to be a food vendor, you can see there's a custom form here. I can talk about the style of food I offer that maybe you put on the brochure for that Memorial Day event, and then upload my proof of insurance and health permits. So it just makes it really easy to collect all the information you need. You could click submit and make my payment, and then it would all be tracked just like I showed you before. So as far as the concerts or just events in general, that's pretty much what any type of event sponsorship can look like. So now I'll just show you a couple others real quick before I open up the floor for questions. So now for a memorial bench program, here, again, same basic layout. We intentionally made this really easy to follow. Here, there's a PDF for the program, so we'll build out different things like that for you as well if you want to promote it in different ways. But main thing I want to show you here is if I can see the available items or available benches right here. But if I click on the map view, this just shows you another layout you have for different campaigns you're running in town. So you can show people where these benches are throughout the community, just making it really interactive for your residents and really cool for them when they're thinking about where they want to donate. And so you can see the available options right here, or you can even see the donated items. And so just to show you what one of these benches can look like in action, assuming someone went in and donated, then basically instead of a couple words on a plaque, Grandma Helen's family, they get to share the story in a deeper way. So someone walking through the community, they see a QR code on a bench and they scan it. This is what they're going to see. But also someone just checking out the campaign online here that checks out the donated items, they'll be able to see this story as well. And so again, the family just shared in memory of Grandma Helen, celebrating a life well lived, talking about how she was born in the community, had a happy and joyful upbringing, a pretty big family, married her childhood sweetheart, started a family of her own with a set of twins, continued to be involved in the community, even decided to share the top secret cookie recipe. I know I have not shared my grandma's cookie recipe with the world. We have kept that to our hearts, but they decided to do it. They used this link and actually just sent everyone to Chips Ahoy. So funny little example, but no one's getting that recipe. But families, they get really excited about this. I'm sure you can imagine just getting to share the story about their loved ones. Maybe the local food bank was important to grandma, so they linked to that cause that was important to her. So a lot of really cool things that you can do with these. And just wanted to show you how this can not only just make it easy for your residents to see the opportunity to give back to this type of campaign, but also how they get to share their story. And then those QR plaques that I just showed you, they can be used in really creative ways too. So for instance, if you did do the educational walk on the land trust trails or those informational kiosks, if you use the QR plaque for those, some communities we work with, like Winter Park in Florida, they've done historical walks where basically they just map out different landmarks around town. People can come in and check it out online, or they can scan the QR code in public and then see some more information about that actual spot. So this is for a statue, but basically just telling the story of your community, which just makes things really cool and engaging for your residents. So lots of really cool things that you can do with that. About to wrap up here. Just the last main thing I want to show you is if you're doing a volunteer opportunity, seems like you do a good bit of that in town. Making it really easy for whatever organization is offering the opportunity. Me as the donor or me as the volunteer, I could just come in here, download my waiver, click participate now, and it takes me right to a sign up form. So I can fill out all this information, upload my signed waiver, click submit, and again, it's all tracked in the activity log. So just making things really easy for your residents, things really easy for your community leaders. And ultimately, again, wanted to be as succinct as possible. I know there's a lot of people in the room, so really do appreciate all of your time. I'm really excited about the opportunity to work and have an impact in the community. And so would love to just open it up in case anyone has any questions while I'm here.
Anybody have any questions from council?
No, it's good.
No?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Dylan?
Oops. Anyone else?
Lynn Ryder Burgess Road. I told Preservation, I'm a member of Preservation, that we're coming here, and I had talked to Tammy about it. And as far as expenses, now the $24.99 would be paid by the town? Yes?
We'll discuss that.
We'll be discussing, okay. Well, the QR plaques. Like I saw one, I guess it's just the plaque, it's not a big storyboard, it was $45.
Absolutely. So we manufacture these plaques in different sizes and dimensions. So I can share this again just to show you a couple of the options. But basically, we manufacture them ourselves. They're built out of anodized aluminum. So you saw the story tag. It was, let's see, here we go. So the story tag right here. Sometimes this will be used just on an informational kiosk because if you don't actually need words, we do have storyboards as well for a larger fundraiser or something for a capital project. And so we can make these in various sizes and the price just depends on the material that we're making it with. And generally these prices would be built into the memorial item. So for instance, if this was a memorial bench, the same way you would price in the bench itself, pouring the concrete, the installation, and then pass that on to the person making the donation. Usually that's how communities will do this too.
Well, what about if it was something like for preservation where you had a particular historic site and you wanted to put one of those story tags that people could then find out more about that site? The organization, I would imagine, would then have to bear the expense of
So
doing.
there's some different ways that we've seen communities do that. For sure, if there is a fund to pull from, the organization could bear the expense. But a lot of times, I didn't show you this just to be mindful of your time. But for instance, a lot of communities will do more general fundraisers, or for instance, this is a parks beautification fund. So you could have a fundraiser out here where people in your community, they could give back, whether it's $5,000 or $50, $25, and they could just give back to that park or to that space that's important to them. And then those funds could be used for things like that to just enrich the experience for your residents. And again, our community support team, we build these out consistently. So we can help you get creative, whether it's with buy a brick fundraisers or promoting different general fundraisers or finding different ways to raise the funds so it doesn't end up falling on your organization.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? No? Thank you for the presentation. That was great. And we'll be in touch.
Thank you all. I look forward to it. And if
Thank
any
you.
other follow-up questions come up, just Tammy knows where to find me.
Will do. Thank you.
Have a great night, everyone.
You too.
You too, thank you.
So cost, that's where, so that's gonna be in discussion. So because we're probably this is gonna be open up, in my opinion, to the town. So I think everybody should invest in this product a little across the board.
Nonprofits that can't run 2 cents together. They just put a new roof on the Mount Hygia School.
I saw that. I saw it. Yeah, I saw it. Looked very nice. So the buy-in will be great. So that's my opinion. you know, if everyone in the town has the ability to use it, it's a great system. It really is. Thank you, Tammy, for bringing it forward too. But I think a buy-in would be great from every organization. That would actually help. So, but that would be something we can discuss.
Even the library benefit from it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Even the library,
Fire companies could benefit.
fire companies can too.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, anybody in town that does fundraising.
Right.
Can be anybody.
Right.
Possible.
Well,
Yeah.
pay
yeah,
your
possibly.
share
Yeah.
and you're on.
Yeah. If you're, yeah. Yep. So
Just
I think
saying.
it's great, but we'll put it on a future agenda item to finalize that side of it. Yeah.
It's part of the budget discussions too.
Oh, it's in there.
Oh, that's right. It was put on rec. Yeah. So
Nice.
we can
pay for it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll so we're gonna have to discuss that sooner rather than later. So next budget meeting, we'll have that up there. All right. All right. Eco Depot. So I reached out to the Eco Depot. First I put in a official request to have a date added for our town. There is an open date on their schedule. I'm not sure what they use it for. It doesn't say what you use for. It's in December. I know it's December, but it is an open date that they have there. So I asked to be put on that date. I haven't received a response yet. So I made a couple phone calls and left voicemails. Next thing is I'm gonna drive there because no one's responded yet. So so we are in process, and that's something we are gonna try to get here. And preferably put on a regular rotating schedule, just like they do with the other towns. You know, add us to that list and benefit the residents and our refuse. All right. Any questions on the Eco Depot? Like, there's no action or anything. It's just
No.
discussion. Okay. All right, second public hearing.
All right, so Susan Joyce, member of the planning board, here to do my best to walk you through the ordinances. The first ones are all the dark sky ordinances, chapter 18. You all have had time now to look over everything, so I'm not going to cover everything we covered 2 weeks ago, but just a couple of reminders and one clarification. The dark sky ordinance is one of the goals that was set forth in Foster's comprehensive plan. And many towns have dark sky ordinances, so we're not paving new ground here. And in fact, we used other towns' ordinances to create this one. The Foster Dark Sky Lighting Ordinance provides clear guidelines for commercial development and protects the rights of residents. The purpose is to prevent light from becoming a nuisance to other properties, to preserve rural character, and to promote energy efficient lighting. And one thing that, Mr. President, you brought up last time was you had asked if lighting was in a lot of the other commercial and development ordinances, and it is.
Yeah.
But one thing, and Joanna, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's very brief in where we have it in most ordinances. So this provides a lot more detail and specifics for what somebody that was coming before the building official, town planner, planning board would need to take into consideration.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more meat and backup
there is.
in that ordinance. So those are the points I wanted to bring forward. I don't know, do you want me just to top line what the different ones are again? Or do you have specific questions about anything?
Well, I just have some comments on the ordinance itself as a whole. I do like the ordinance, but I don't see how it's going to benefit with residences. Commercial, I understand. Commercial is very easy to implement. There's nothing so stringent on a commercial property, in my opinion, that it would hinder them to abide by the dark sky ordinance. I don't see an influx in residents being built in town. And for current residents, there's no way to really regulate current residents, only because if it's a if it's a fixture, they're changing. There's no way to regulate that. They're gonna change their fixture, they're gonna put on what they want. So in my opinion, I don't think for homes it would work. I think for businesses it would. And it would help with the dark sky, especially because if you're having a business come in, even a manufacturing facility, that's gonna pick up. Their parking lots and, security, I understand, security in here.
Yep.
That's a waiver part, they say it's security. But that could hinder the dark sky. Usually when you look west, you see Danielson. You can see where they're losing out on their dark sky.
Yeah.
So
And it's
that's
Situate.
commercial.
Situate, yeah.
Right, but that's commercial.
Yeah,
We're not, as long as we're not changing the minimum acreage to build.
Mhm.
So even if we have a few more homes being built, I can't see where that's going to actually hinder us. I think we're putting some concerns on residents that are not needed. I don't think we have, based on reports, we don't have that problem right now with the dark sky. We do have one of the best dark skies.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we shouldn't preempt it and say, yeah, maybe we should do this now just in case. I don't see it happening with homes. That's just obviously my opinion. Commercial, yeah, I do agree with that because we are going to get some commercial business in town.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon. So, that I understand, and I don't think it's going to be a deterrent from a commercial property coming in and abiding by those regulations. I think that's a very minor, in my opinion. So that's.
you're gonna say something, you put your light on?
I was going to just mention that there's residential property, but then, we may want to think of, if that's the way that we're leaning, think about residential property that is then becomes like a combo resident with an
Mixed
accessory
use.
use.
Yeah.
And then it's something, so that may, if you're thinking about removing residential, you might want to think about, fixing that loophole if.
Yeah, so if it's a mixed use.
Well, we have many, but at one point we had somebody who was putting, a company in their home. So the home was gonna be here and then the
Okay.
business was gonna be, I don't know, like a split level. So that they had parking and you want to prevent that.
Right.
So the only other things that I would add to that, and whatever the council decides, you can certainly keep parts, take out parts of the ordinance, regarding business lighting, just to further add to that, one of the board members who is knowledgeable about this pointed out that for in most cases, choosing dark sky friendly lighting is cost effective. For some cases, it might even be less money,
Absolutely.
or certainly not necessarily more money.
Yeah,
So
that's why I don't think.
that's not a burden. Yeah.
That's
So
not a burden.
and I know in the earlier conversation, there was some concern, like, would it hinder new building? It should not be a hindrance to it. So it provides good guidelines for that. The residential, there's nothing, and there have been some people saying, well, does that mean there's no teeth to it? There's nothing. Homes that have lights are already exempt from the lights, the residential homes. And I think somebody pointed out last time that really if someone changes their light, who's going to know? So I think that in my mind, one of the benefits of having something about residential lights is if a problem arose, it is a pathway to addressing the problem that otherwise the pathway doesn't exist right now. For that would be one other
Yeah,
consideration.
and I think that also, in my opinion, that may be a problem that is going to create a problem. Meaning there may be people with lights currently that people might go after that person saying, you have a non-dark sky light. They don't have to be brought to building. The building would take the complaint, go out there. And there's really no regulation on that in here. It says, because if they changed it and then now you got to prove, did they change it? You know, it's one of those things I think it's another added burden to the residents that, you know, a lot of people live out here because for reasons. And like I said, I don't see where we have a problem right now with the dark sky. And again, I understand why we're doing it, especially because in the comprehensive plan, which I'm personally okay, you know, I'm okay with that. Commercial property is definitely, I think that's something that can be addressed, and it's not going to be a total burden on them
Right.
because the fixtures themselves are cheaper. It's gonna be cheaper to operate. And it's just another check mark that they need to go through planning, building and zoning.
Right.
That's really all it is.
Right.
So I really don't have a problem with that side. But residents that I do,
I don't know when we can ask questions.
you can ask questions. Yeah, if anyone wants to add anything, you can.
As Lynn Ryder Burgess Road, as far as residential, I can see your point. However, having been a longtime resident, I have seen a tremendous amount of more light. And for example, when we moved to our road in I don't know, 1961, something like that, there were only 6 houses, only 4 were lived in full time. The road is a mile and a half. There are now 40 houses. Yeah, there's a lot more light. And I think that it tends to be more new builds. And I mean, we've had two new houses built in the past year. So there is some building going on. And unfortunately, you know, and I know people, well, they tend to tone it down, but people like to light up everything. And if new build residential was encouraged to have, you know, lights, you know, sure, have your post light or whatever, but instead of, you know, this, have this. Or, you know, on the front of your garage, everybody loves the little, you know, the little carriage lights. Just, you know, down. You know, I have noticed quite a bit more light. And another thing, something you alluded to, what happens when you start to have LMI housing? Now you've got greater density of homes in one area. And is that considered commercial? What is it? I mean, everybody's going to have a porch light, everybody's going to have a post light, everybody's going to have lights on the front of their garages, everybody's going to have a light at the end of the driveway or their little walkway, because for some reason you can't see where you live. I mean, and this is an aside, but my pet peeve is the million reflective things that they put at the end of the road. You can't find your road? Give me a break. But anyway, that's aside. So I can see even ADAs. Okay, you build or you turn your garage into another little house, or you build another, you know, what about that? You've just doubled the amount of lights that you're going to have on that piece of property. So I think that by saying just no to residents, it leaves an awful lot of possibility to have a lot of light that we weren't expecting. You know, I mean, I grew up where you could, you know, Providence barely had a glow. Now you just, you know, forget looking east. I love looking west. Nope, Killingly Commons, here it comes.
Yep.
Went to see the eclipse, no, meteors, saw something, oh, Northern Lights at the Alba Chase Reservoir, right over the line on 101 in Connecticut. Beautiful, except we were facing Putnam.
Yep.
So certainly commercial, that's kind of a no-brainer. But I do think that there has to be some way to control residential, new residential, you know, especially with LMI housing, or someone starts putting up a whole bunch of duplexes. Again, you're doubling the light in a much smaller amount of space.
Yep.
Dana Bishop, Old Plainfield Pike. I've been here 25 years, so I'm a newcomer And I wanted to talk about in response to your residential comment, and the existing lights on houses and talking about like lights on street posts and stuff like that. I don't know if you've seen the LED kits that a lot of people are putting. It's dramatic. That's coming too, so just wanted to mention that.
No, I agree. Yep. Yes.
How you doing? Adam Dacko, 119A Central Pike. I am against the light ordinance. That would just be weaponizing neighbor against neighbor. I have my lights set up for a specific reason, for predators. And I kind of need them. I don't want to be hindered by them. We don't need any more ordinances. I think just neighbors just being neighborly, I think that'll be fine. Seen it before. 13 years living in Pawtucket with the street light beaming in my bedroom. Doesn't faze me in the least. Kind of seasoned to it now. All right, thank you.
This doesn't affect existing lighting either, by the way, that everything that's existing is exempt.
So even if they change the light bulb, it's okay.
Well, it's not existing anymore. That's not existing.
So then that's not.
If, well, if they change the fixture,
Uh-huh.
yeah, if you change the light bulb, then you're
Alright,
you're
so if you
keeping the,
just change the fixture, they'd have to go through the planning board, they have to go through hoops to make sure it's
No,
someone
I
comes
think,
out.
I think the way I'm reading this is if they change the
They
fixture,
can't get in.
they have to abide by the dark sky ordinance.
yes.
But there's
Bus-
no,
for
there's no plan-
businesses.
No. Residential.
How do you police that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm
Somebody
against, somebody would call. So that's why I'm saying that the residential side's really hard. You're gonna put an ordinance in and then it's gonna have to be policed by, we don't know. And there's no way for them to track. So now you have somebody that changed their fixture. Does the building official go out there and say, okay, he changed his fixture on this date? If it changes again, then I know, hey, that's new now. That's different. It's not that when that's not gonna happen, right? So. I think that's more of a burden on residents, especially the ones that want to do the right thing. And say, oh, I gotta do this right, make sure I do this right. If they do it wrong and they get a complaint. Someone's gonna come out, maybe not, I'm not sure.
But it's only
But
on
there's,
new bills.
no,
No.
it's not. It's not. It's all residences.
new
You're a
fixture.
grandfather for
You just
existing
said
fixture.
it's exempt.
No, you're a grandfather for existing fixtures.
Yes,
Okay, but if you go and change your fixture on your house, on your barn, and it's not compliant with this dark sky ordinance, then you are against the order. You're violating the ordinance. The way- I'm sorry. go ahead.
the fixture, your fixture is grandfathered in. But your home is not not as written. You could write it to say that an existing home can do whatever they want and a
Right,
new
that's not the
build
way
will
it is.
comply. But if you change your fixture under this, you have to be compliant.
On existing homes built in
Yeah.
1790.
The
Yes.
question I have is how you keep up with that, because you
That's-
don't need a permit to change a fixture, only that. So how do you know if somebody's changing a fixture?
A neighbor would call, the
Yeah, you
builder,
gotta
somebody
complain.
drove
You gotta
by.
complain.
If the building or zoning official so happens to see it, that's really the only way.
That's really the only way.
You'd know, or, the honor system, people with.
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah.
or you'd have to have a list of
right.
all
But
the
with the-
fixtures that are in place now.
There's no. yeah.
Well, no,
Yeah,
yeah, somebody would have to prove,
You'd have
I
to
know
prove it. It'd be-
this,
it'd be-
I know that. I mean, with a new build, you can do it with a CO, that's
Doing,
fine.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in sections 1837, A, it says, single-family property owners shall be exempt from this section and may install outdoor lighting without prior approval from the town. Such lighting shall be in conformance with the criteria section of this section. So, I mean, that sounds to me like it's giving single-family property owners freedom to put up their lighting.
You can do it, on your own, but it still has to be in conformity.
Asking, yeah.
Okay, so if somebody could, you could
Yeah.
change that, just say, you could just grandfather every house that's already built right now. If that would. And make it just
Yeah,
applicable to a new build, you could make it applicable if there was going to be a density change. Cause not all LMI is gonna be like a duplex, I mean, some of the, if somebody comes and builds. Over 55 or some things that are LMI might not be involving multiple, it might be like, one big building. But if it was something with density, you could also, kind of create that.
Could.
Yeah.
This one.
I mean, I think, you can hold the council as to what they want to do
Yeah.
in terms of pass it the way it is, send it back to the planning board, or make some commentary about if the council has a particular feeling about changes. I could make some changes and it could get put on the council. You'll do it for that. Or we could.
So what's the council would like to do?
Yeah, I would like the changes, maybe some of the changes.
Changes?
So who,
So
Me as well.
what changes and who, do you want to send it back to the planning board, or do you want to just, if you make some tweaks here so that it can pass, I mean, it will pass sooner that way?
yeah, so. I'd like to make the changes now
Okay,
to pass it. To exempt residential. That's basically
all or new builds?
all. For residential.
Maybe we can just,
Cause how would we,
I can exempt single family homes,
that would be, yeah,
and then I,
cause it'd be,
we could
yeah,
do
'cause we don't
something.
have multiple, so it'd be density driven.
Yeah, and if there was like a subdivision. Could also put some parameters in for. I don't have to think. About it.
Zoning.
Okay, I can try to finagle something and then
Okay,
we can put that back on.
back on.
Joanna, there was one other thing you noted, and I forgot to bring my notes from last week that you thought didn't make sense that you
Yeah,
said should come
I
out.
have that. It's on 1835B.
Okay, you thought that should be stricken. right?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
just doesn't necessarily make sense. It doesn't do anything and it kind of essentially says that the town,
Oh,
what it
yeah,
says is that basically that the town can come around and say whatever they want about lighting.
Yeah.
If they say it's for the health, safety and welfare, which you don't really want to give somebody a blank check for that. That might be. Then we also told them that somebody was using an assessment use. So we can put this, we'll continue this section. To look at some modifications. To, you'd have to pick the meeting. Maybe like the second April meeting.
So we would need the exact wording. Before we made a motion.
Yeah, it has to come back for another public hearing so that you guys, so that everybody can talk about what it,
Okay,
what it might be.
okay,
Do we want
so,
planning board to look at it first?
Then you have to
No.
re-advertise.
No,
no.
No, but I mean,
Send it back to the planning board, you have to re-advertise.
I'm not, I didn't say send it back.
In order for them. to
Their
look at it,
approval.
It has to.
That means it's go back. Yeah,
That doesn't make any sense to me. Sorry.
so if we continue it,
April 24th.
April, is that the
Yeah,
the second
Yeah.
one? I want, actually, did we move the other ones to?
The other ones we moved to 327.
27, yeah, okay, we're good, yeah.
So 424
424. Yeah, just for section 18.
for all, yeah.
33,
all-
34, 35, 36, 37,
Yeah.
38, 39.
Yes.
We
Maybe you should-
we need a motion.
So you just need a motion to move
To continue the public hearing for the chapter 18 proposed nuisance ordinances to 424-25.
I'm sorry.
So moved.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, all opposed? All right, that is with updates.
So the next one is chapter 24-34. And that's the updating the memberships, terms of office and vacancies for the planning board. The existing ordinance had some information that was no longer correct. So this corrects that and makes it match what's written in the town charter exactly.
That's the one, just get admin change. Does anyone have any questions on that one?
No.
We actually can have a motion on that one. You would like? Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion, we approve chapter 24 planning ordinance, section 24-34.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, one's good. Zoning ordinances, chapter 38.
Chapter 38, 192 is the next one. And this change is simply updating the description of the on-site wastewater treatment system, which is the current correct way to refer to sewage systems.
Yeah, the OWTS.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so this is just a minor change, updating that to amend Rhode Island general law.
Any questions about that one? No, we can move on to the next one.
Okay. 190, I'm sorry, chapter 38, 193. I'm going back to Grant's document too. And this is a zoning enforcement officer is now charged with a review required by Rhode Island General Law 45-24-42B1. And so this is a change made to Rhode Island General Law.
Any questions on that one? Right. Does anybody have any questions on section 38? I don't think we have to
Most
read,
of them are just.
right, Joanna? We don't have to, she doesn't have to re-explain every,
No,
okay.
Yeah.
Because we already had our
Right.
first hearing. Do you have any questions on?
No.
No.
Is there anything that you want to? Okay.
Yep. I think they're all pretty
They were-
straightforward. The two that were the last two were the ADU ones, so those would be the only ones. I don't know if anyone had any
Right,
questions
I have
on them.
Questions on those are the ones I'm really keying on.
Yeah,
Does anybody have any questions on those?
No.
No.
One is gone.
so
Yeah,
that's
I-
282 and 390.
Nine.
Yeah, those.
Yeah. Okay. Any
Okay.
questions? No?
No.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve chapter 38. 38, 192, 38, 193, 38, 226, 38, 227, 38, 228, 38, 231, 38, 236, 38, 237, 38, 282, 38, 390. And that's it.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, we are going to be moving into the executive session.
They lost it.
Oh, for Daniel, it's good. Okay.
Okay. I move to go into executive closed session pursuant to Rhode Island General Law 4246(5). What are we discussing?
Oh, bargaining. To get the bargaining on. Which one? Bargaining, litigation.
Do you need the agenda?
I didn't.
Oh, right here. Well,
4246(5)(a)(2), collective bargaining litigation contract negotiations.
8-2, right?
Yes.
Okay, and reconvene into open session and to further to keep the minutes of said meeting closed and the meeting of all executive sessions held previous to this meeting be closed and remain to previous general law of, laws of Rhode Island 4246-4 and 5.
We have a second? Second. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. We are in executive session.